Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are taking what sometimes feels like abstract math on a page and turning it into physical, tangible reality. If you're tackling the Cambridge 0580 syllabus, you know that mastering the basics is literally the difference between an average grade and a top-tier result. So today, we're going to master powers and roots. But listen, we aren't just going to blindly memorize formulas. No way! We're going to look at the actual geometry behind them. Because once you see how numbers build up into physical shapes, you'll know exactly how to tear them back down. It's all about playing the game smart. Okay, let's dive into this.
Here's our game plan for today. We're starting flat with 2D squares, reversing that with square roots, and then upgrading to 3D cubes. Finally, we'll hit the practical stuff, your calculator toolkit, and the key targets you absolutely must memorize.
Section 1, Visualizing Squares and Areas. Let's get right into the foundational stuff.
Look at this diagram. What's really cool about this is how literal the math actually is. It's not just numbers in a vacuum. If you draw a geometric square with side lengths of 3 units and you physically count the little blocks inside, you get an area of exactly 9 squares. That is exactly why 3 multiplied by 3 is called 3 squared. You'll see it written as a 3 with a little 2 floating at the top right. Right next to it, check out the square with side lengths of 4. 4 by 4 gives an area of 16. So those numbers, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, they are literally the areas of perfect geometric squares.
By definition, a square number is just the result of multiplying a number by itself. 4 squared simply means 4 times 4, giving us 16. You're taking a single dimension, a line of 4, and multiplying it by another line of 4 to build a two-dimensional area. It's that simple. Now, before we continue, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at @acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now.
Moving on to Section 2, Reversing with Square Roots. Because whatever we do in math, we gotta know how to undo.
Think of this as a two-way street. It's the ultimate concept of doing and undoing. If squaring a number builds it up into an area, like taking a side of 4 to get an area of 16, then the positive square root is basically the wrecking ball that tears it safely back down to its base. Because 4 squared is 16, the positive square root of 16 is 4. It's the exact same relationship, just viewed in reverse. You'll recognize this operation immediately by the radical symbol. It's that sort of check mark with the roof over the number. Whenever you see this symbol on an exam paper, it's asking you a very specific question. Hey, what positive number was multiplied by itself to get the number inside here? So if you see the square root of 36, you just ask yourself, what times itself is 36? Boom, the answer is 6.
Section 3, Entering the Third Dimension. Let's level this up. This brilliantly illustrates the leap from flat area to actual volume. Instead of a flat 2D shape, we now have a 3D volume, like this blue block right here, with side lengths of 2. So we multiply the length of 2 by the width of 2 by the height of 2. 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8 little blocks total. We call this 2 cubed, and it's written as a 2 with a tiny 3 floating next to it. Just like squares made literal geometric squares, cubes make literal 3D cubes. It's a perfect physical representation. To formalize that for your notes, a cube number strictly follows this 3-part multiplication rule. It's the base number multiplied by itself and then by itself again. So the integers 1, 8, 27, 64, and 125 are the perfect cubes of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 4 cubed is simply 4 times 4 times 4, which equals 64. You're just building out that third dimension.
Section 4, Unpacking the cube root. But wait, stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at @acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2-3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to @aceexams_IGCSE and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions. All right, let's get back to tearing down those 3D cubes.
Just like we saw with our 2D squares, we need a reliable way to undo this 3D operation, and the logic is perfectly consistent. If the forward step is 5 cubed equals 125, then the reverse step brings us right back to our starting point. Because we know that 5 cubed builds 125, we instantly know that the cube root of 125 tears it back down to 5. It's doing and undoing.
Now pay close attention to the notation here, because it's almost identical to the square root, but with one critical addition that students often miss. We write this specific operation with a small 3 tucked right into the little nook of the radical symbol. That little 3 tells you, find the number that was multiplied by itself 3 times to get this target. If you don't see that 3, you have to assume it defaults to a regular square root.
Section 5, the Calculator Toolkit. This is where we talk exam strategy.
Understanding the geometry is absolutely crucial for your mathematical foundation, but let's be real. When the clock is ticking down in your Cambridge exam, calculating larger powers manually takes way too long. Let's master our physical tools. To find a large square on your calculator, like 47 squared, you simply type your base number first, 4 and 7. Then, locate that dedicated x squared button and hit it. Finally, press equals. Instantly, you have 2,209. Fast, efficient, and accurate.
Now for the reverse. To find the square root of a large number, like 729, the order is usually slightly different. On most scientific calculators, you hit the radical button first. Then you type your number, 729. Press equals, and it reveals 27. Now, a quick pro tip. Some older or different model calculators might operate in reverse order, where you type the number and then hit the root key. Always test it on a number you know, like checking the square root of 9, before your exam just to be 100% sure how your specific device works.
For cubes and beyond, your calculator has specific functions too. Look for the x cubed button to instantly calculate something like 15 cubed, which is 3,375. There's also usually a dedicated cube root button to quickly find that the cube root of 4,913 is 17. But what if they throw a massive power at you, like a number to the power of 4 or 5? You need to find the generic power keys. These are often labeled as x to the power of y, or an x with a little blank box. Mastering these generic keys unlocks literally every power and root possible. Don't let your calculator be the reason you drop marks.
Section 6, Key Memorization Targets. Let's talk about saving precious time.
Now, despite having these incredibly powerful calculators in our pockets, true mathematical fluency, the kind that gets you top grades, requires bypassing the calculator entirely for certain foundational facts. You need to commit the squares of the integers 1 through 15 perfectly to memory. Why? Because it makes the math effortless and lightning fast. When you just know that 12 squared is 144 or that 15 squared is 225, you aren't just saving seconds, you're building a mental map. If a multi-step problem asks you for the square root of 196, you won't need to break your flow to reach for a device. Your brain will instantly fire back the number 14.
Similarly, your memory targets for cubes are the integers 1 through 5 plus the number 10. You should know automatically that 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed is 64, and 5 cubed is 125. And of course, 10 cubed is simply a 1 with 3 zeros, 1,000. Memorizing this super short list will carry you through the vast majority of geometry and algebra problems you'll encounter without breaking a sweat. It's a tiny investment of time for a huge payoff in the exam room.
Let's recap the ultimate rules of the game we've covered today. Powers build up geometric space, squares build 2D area, and cubes build 3D volume. Roots are simply the reverse gear, tearing that area or volume back down to the length of a single side. You need to identify and master the specific forward and reverse functions on your calculator so you don't fumble under pressure. And lastly, memorize those core tables for instant mental recall. Now listen up. Students who implement these mathematics strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly explainer sessions. Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at @acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to @acetheexams_IGCSE and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by.
I want to leave you with this final thought. Think deeply about this concept of doing and undoing. If you've put in the work to memorize that 5 cubed is 125, you haven't just learned a basic multiplication fact. You've simultaneously mapped the exact reverse route. You instantly know the cube root of 125. By mastering the forward steps, haven't you already unlocked all the answers to the reverse? Keep that mental shortcut with you. Before you go, drop a comment below with your target grade for mathematics and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams. Your Cambridge success starts here.